Hi Pisces, welcome to Higher Source Tarot for your June 2020 tarot check. This is for all Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And I want to thank all of you who've been watching my readings. I love doing them for you. You've had quite a sequence of some very powerful readings in the weekly readings. So that is interesting to me. I kind of can't wait to get to this to see what is next. So thank you too for liking, commenting, subscribing. And if you're new to my channel, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And if you tap the bell, you'll be notified when new videos are posted, but it's usually about every week. I do a weekly, I do monthlies, and then I also do a love tarot. I just added that, and it's going to be the first Friday of every month. So here we go. Let's see what's going on for Pisces. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. This is for Pisces 2020 here. All right, guys. So if it doesn't resonate, you can always check a different part of your chart. But my God, the energy has been so strong and very predictive. So it's interesting. But let's see what's going to go on here. Your current situation, you got the Ten of Swords. It's covered by the Four of Swords. Your destiny here is the Lovers. The more distant past, you've got the Queen of Cups. More recent past, you've got the Six of Wands. Coming towards you, you have the Ten of Wands. You're represented here by the Knight of Pentacles. The other person or the atmosphere around you is the Two of Pentacles here. And your hopes, you've got the Moon, and then the outcome, you've got the Nine of Pentacles. Now, the bottom of the deck, I'm going to take these two because you've got the Five of Wands, but you've also got the Strength card. So I'm going to tell you right off the bat, there's somebody that's got some hidden emotions here. I think you may have you got a soulmate connection here. I mean, there's no doubt about that. You've got air energy here. You've got Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. You have Pisces here. You have fire. You have Earth, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus here. You've got Leo here. So I definitely think you had an ending to something and it caused you maybe even to go into therapy. You've had this quite a bit though, where you've had an ending, but it's like it's moving you forward. It was definitely painful though. This was a mortal wound. This wasn't just some, little short-term thing that ended. I think you had a lot of hesitation, uncertainty of what to do. The other person may have it too, just not being completely on flat ground, but trying to end something. So there's been unfinished emotional business here. And you are lying in repose here. You're taking a break. I don't think you have any communication with this person right now. I don't feel like they're at a physical distance, but I do feel like there's no communication and you're just trying to clear your head. You're trying to, raise your own vibration, but wanting to get clear on what to do next. Like I said, you might be seeking out the help of a therapist, and that would be very beneficial. The other thing is just quieting your own mind, quieting some of the indecision, running these scenarios. Somebody's doing this where they're just thinking back through, and it's almost like the Sixth Sense at the end, where he thinks back and then sees all these situations that then it all makes sense who Bruce Willis really is. And it's kind of like that, where you're going back and it's like, how did we get here? But you got a soulmate here. This was a relationship. It brought love brings life, right? I mean, it brought in a new perspective on relationships. It brought in new meaning to life. That's what I'm really getting here. This relationship was a pivotal point for you. It was something that I think brought great importance, the importance of love in your life. And some of you may, because you've got the single lady here as the outcome, the Nine of Pentacles. I think that some of you during this quarantine have really looked at your life and been wondering about, should I try to reconcile, or is there more to this? But I definitely feel like overall it brought new understanding to life. It's been a very important relationship for you. And some of you too, I think with work, there's been some things going on there too. And some of you may be moving on to a new job venture, but the thing is, this job has brought it's like coherence to your career. I feel like it's really been a great situation in giving you a foundation for sure. And I think it'll be one of those things where you see it as a real milestone. So if you do move on, there's something important about it. In the past, though, you have this Queen of Cups, and of course this represents you. It's, very gentle energy, very loving, very kind, nurturing. And I think that for some of you, you felt like you were giving more than receiving. You were trying, but it just wasn't enough. It's like whatever I do is just not enough for this person. And they had this almost unfillable void. It's more like, feels like they had some kind of spiritual gap, and they were trying to fill it with this relationship, and it was never enough. So no matter how much you loved them, it was just never enough. And it's because they were spiritually depleted, not emotionally depleted. And I see that a lot where people think they're having a psychological crisis, but it's really a spiritual crisis. And for some of you, you may have gone through that and really felt like, why am I here? What is the purpose of this life? But if you have life, you have purpose. And, for some of you, you're just a natural healer, teacher, mother type. It is your natural inclination. You have intuitive gifts and things that are just very special about you. And so I think that for some of you, it can sometimes kind of overlap into almost codependent people pleasing, wanting to lift people up, wanting to be an uplifter to the point that it costs you and you just couldn't afford it. I do think the universe had to exit this situation because there was a power imbalance, and that is not sustainable in the universe. It will be exited for you. There's an old saying, God does for us what we won't do for ourselves. And in this case, that may have very well happened. I do feel like in the more recent past, though, you've gotten your confidence back. You're feeling more secure. You're feeling better about how you look, better about your just overall nutrition, fitness. Some of you might be doing yoga or strength training, but eating very clean. I'm seeing like wheatgrass and smoothies, and it's making you feel good. It's making you feel like, you know what, I'm taking my life back. I took my life back here. I gave a lot, and it got me to the point where I just didn't like who I was anymore. But I like who I am today, and I'm proud, and I'm uplifted, and I've got great support, and I feel like I can do anything. It's that kind of energy. Some of you may have gotten an award too at work, and that's part of this recognition that's bringing in new offers in terms of work. Like I said, I think what you've been doing is a very important part of your life, but I think it's leading to something more. Some of you may be in some kind of management or something where you've definitely had some burdens, and I think you're going to start to come out of that, but you've got coming towards you this 10 of Wands, and it's like being stretched very thin. And I do feel for some of you it's about some kind of work stuff. I've had this for you a few times where you may have to lay people off and restructure some things, and it's causing more work on you, quite frankly. But I don't feel like it's going to be forever. It's like I said, it's a conclusion here with this 10. And I also think there's some emotional guilt for somebody here. They've got like back pain going on, and that back pain always has to do with guilt. I feel like they may have unnecessarily taken that on, though. It's like, so we all make choices, and you were not trying to hurt anybody, but the choices that you made needed to happen. They just did to release you. So you are represented here by the Knight of Pentacles. And so again, I do feel like you've got money coming in, and you've got some kind of offer that's going to come in. This certainly could be related to work, though, where I feel like there's some kind of an offer, and it might be a bit of a process to move on. Part of it is, again, with this guilt thing, there's this sense of responsibility for helping people that helped you, and not wanting to just get up and leave them in a lurch. But I do feel like you're going to be very pulled to this idea of changing something with work, moving to another company, moving away even. But it's long term. Now, in terms of a relationship, again, I do feel like there's a very slow moving energy about it. It's a commitment though. So it's long term. You've got long term financial success, even though it's moving at a slow pace, but you also have somebody who's going to be very cautious about you. They're very guarded and they're protective. You're going to have to be pretty forward, I think, with them, or it could be vice versa, because there's just this cautionary, protective feeling around it. You know, they don't want to get a chink in their armor, and or like I said, vice versa. You don't want that either. So it's almost like who's going to really make the first move here? They're represented here by this Two of Pentacles, and they're kind of on an emotional roller coaster. I think they run very hot and cold. I think they have love for you, but they're pissed, and they're just not quite in a place where they can sit down and have a conversation. There's still too much resentment there. And that's where I get this guilt too. There's a guilt and resentment connection here. And, you know, we're human beings and we bring that with us. Okay, we bring our feelings with us, our vibration with us in any relationship. That's the being part of it. So if I am full of resentment and guilt, I'm bringing that into any relationship that I have. So my focus is to bring tolerance and trust and love and integrity with me. I want that to be my being because I'll get more of it. So you've got the moon here as your hopes and fears, and this is, of course, represents you, which I really like in this reading for you because it's all about taking your personal power back, being in your personal power. So if you've had something that ended because of that power being leached away from you, you've got an emotional charge coming. I think you're going to find out something that you didn't expect here. I feel like this just came to me. Somebody feels like has an unexpected pregnancy too. And I don't know why, because that doesn't really resonate with the rest of the reading, but it could be somebody that's not you, but it's close to you too. But I do get that just suddenly kind of came to me, but it's definitely a time of caution. I think that it's time to really be honest with yourself about your life map and let that inner source guide you. You know, it's also a law of attraction card. So with the new moon, the new moon has the power to deliver your intentions. So be very clear about what you want. Be very clear. And Pisces can be a little bit indecisive and emotional and kind of wanting to please and be harmonious. But be clear because you're worth it. You know, this is also about closing out a cycle or a phase. So if you've been off again with somebody, I think you could get back on with them. You definitely have hidden emotions. So you've got this with the Strength and the Nine of Pentacles here. You got a couple things going on. There's definitely stability here. You know, with the Nine of Pentacles, there's material stability and wealth. There's wealth around you. It's almost like you've got too much money to spend coming in, where it's like you don't have a companion to spend it with. He's got this little bird, but it's not quite what she's looking for, right? But with the Strength card, this is infinite abundance. And it's also about repressed feelings, okay? It's about hopes, fears, repressed emotion. And she's taming this lion. I mean, she's courageous and strong. But I also feel like, too, some of you have, with this relationship, sort of a repressed, there's like repressed passion. Some of you may have dated other people, or this other person, if they're a Gemini, they might have dated people too. But there's just not the same connection. And I do feel like there's a bit of a jealousy coming through. So some of you might be dating, or they might be checking on you, or you're checking on them to kind of make sure they're not, kind of a thing. It's like, well, you're not together. I mean, you're allowed to, but there's this sort of jealousy thing that's lurking in the reading a little bit here. So I definitely think you're going to give it another swing. I do. I think you're going to be moving on in terms of your career, but moving upward. It's not a lateral move, it's an upward move. So we're going to do these Carolyn Mace archetype cards to close things off. And she's a PhD in theology, but was a medical intuitive for many, many years. She traveled around the world doing medical intuitive readings, and she studies archetypes, and these archetypes make up the tarot, and they're also a huge part of psychology, but they are a key to understanding relationships. So the archetype card for you is the visionary. The light attributes are the capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others. Excuse me, a willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. And that, to me, Pisces is a dreamer, and that makes a lot of sense. The shadow attributes are selling insights to the highest bidder. It's compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. So the shadow attribute is really about not being true to yourself. Sorry, I've got a little bit of an allergy thing going on. And sometimes it gets worse if I talk a lot. So anyway, we'll close things out with an Abraham Hicks asking it as given card. An empty feeling is telling me something important. A negative feeling indicates that your current choice of thought is so out of harmony with your source energy that you are disallowing your full connection to that energy stream. You could say that your fuel tank is approaching empty. Your emotions do not create, but they do indicate what you are currently attracting. So our emotionals are our vibrational indicator. They show us where we're vibrating. So if we're uncomfortable, anxious, fearful, we're going to attract situations that create that feeling for us. It's law. It's a universal law. So know that you can have, do, or be anything. If you can see it in your mind, you can have it in your reality. So if you think, I'm a million miles away from reconciling, maybe not. The universe likes speed. So change, if you need to, that is. Raise your vibration and great things will happen. I've seen it happen. So I love you so much, Pisces, and I'll be back again soon.